Hello everyone, my name is Carol from Pivotal Wealth Management in Australia, and today we are honoured to invite one of the co-founders of the DCS platform, Jaime Terauds, to discuss this exciting privacy-based project with us and share his experiences on how he became involved in blockchain technology. Also, why he feels now is the right time to launch a privacy-based platform of this nature. So Jaime, welcome. Perhaps to kick things off, you could provide us a little background information of yourself and how you got involved in the project.
Hi Carol, thanks for having me. I've actually been involved in the IT industry, or on the edges of the IT industry, since the early 90s. Well before the current broadband adoption and before the internet as we know it today existed. I actually started a systems integration company in 1993. I launched an ISP in 1998, and I began rolling out a wireless broadband company doing infrastructure throughout Southeast Asia, right from 99 right through to 2001. So we experienced firsthand the entire dot-com bubble and the subsequent burst. So I've seen lots of fads, I lived through the hype, and I've seen the amazing transformation that happened to business as a result of the internet. So in about 2016, I was a director in a virtual reality theme park which we were launching in Malaysia, and we began investigating a blockchain-based platform to use as a rewards program for our customers. And this is when I really first became aware of it and started to see the amazing potential for this technology. It actually reminded me very much of the first internet boom, and this was in 2001 and earlier. Everyone knew that the internet was going to transform the world, but no one really knew what the model would be. No one really knew how it was going to play out. And so you look back at that time, and most of the dot-com companies have disappeared. As people sort of tried to find the right model for success. Over the next few years, I continued to educate myself on the various developments in blockchain. I actually began working on several projects, more to do with cap table management and using blockchain to manage the securitization of securities. And I was also starting to dabble in some crypto investments myself. Then in late, I think it was 2020, I was introduced to some exciting new research being conducted in the region, and they were using a concept called zero knowledge proofs. And I saw the potential application for securing a user's privacy using blockchains, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. In my mind, this was the perfect use case for the technology and a way for me to play a part in driving the technology forward. And so we set about earlier this year, we then launched decentralized data crypto systems as a business. We created a DCS foundation and we began building out the platform. So if we fast forward to today, and we've now completed our internal testing, and as of the 26th of September, we launched our platform to the world.
Sounds like an exciting time for you. Why do you think now is the right time to launch DCS?
Well, there's really two parts to this. The first part is privacy. Despite the way the media reports on blockchain and crypto in general, as being sort of this secretive, anonymous, murky area where only criminals dwell, it really isn't like that. If you understand how blockchain works, you know that that's completely inaccurate. In fact, the anonymity of the blockchain is divided up by different degrees. If you know the transfer record, for example, of a particular address, which can be found on the open blockchain network, once that address is associated with a particular user or an owner of the information, then all of their transactions are linked to that person. Because as we know, blockchains are an immutable ledger, and with the right software and motivation, they can be very revealing. There are no places to hide on the blockchain. So now this could be a very good thing for, say, the governments. If they want to see how much money a business is making, then you can use a blockchain to make sure that they pay the right amount of tax. You can use blockchain to ensure that people aren't laundering money, and you can use it to streamline auditing and financial and accounting, because those records are fixed, they can't be changed. So it really has some transformative effects, but it also has the potential for exploitation by characters and or individuals who may wish to misuse those inherent vulnerabilities to gain access to a user's private information. And this could potentially jeopardize their financial position or even their personal safety if it came to that. So what DCS have done and what we have pioneered is the use of a mixed ZK protocol, which uses zero knowledge proofs in combination with hybrid data structures. And what this does is it effectively creates another encrypted layer on top of the transaction. And what this does is it prevents the user's identity, it secures the message transmission privacy, as well as the data's structural privacy.
That's very interesting. I had no idea that blockchain transactions were potentially so vulnerable to exposure and privacy incursions in the way that you have described. What platforms are you applying your technology to?
That's an important question. Whilst in time we plan to embrace a large number of chains and become a truly multi-chain compatible solution, the decision we had to make very early on was which blockchains should we begin with and which ones would benefit us the most in the short term and make best use of the technology in the short term. So in this regard, we felt that the Binance Smart Chain made the most sense. It's got a huge community. They did an incredible job with the Pancake Swap launch. It's got a lot of liquidity and the price has been very stable. Not to mention there is a huge volume of currencies operating on the BSC. So for us that was the perfect place to launch. As of today we have BNB, USDT, BSUD and also our own DCS token. But we're actively recruiting more currencies all the time and we expect to roll those out over the coming months.
Okay, so what was the second aspect you mentioned earlier that you'd also like to touch upon?
Okay, this is really important. It's related to the governance and the long-term value approach that we've decided to embrace as an organisation. We're really not interested in chasing short-term gains. So, for example, all of the coins that were mined during our testing phase will be burnt. We set up our platform as a decentralized autonomous organization, or a DAO. And what this means is that all of our token holders can vote on the various governance parameters, like the currencies, the denominations, the handling fees, and even the profit sharing ratios. So in addition to this, we've adopted an incentive-based approach for both certificate issuance mining and also node governance. And this is where we really generously reward our users who provide liquidity pledges by effectively sharing the income that the platform generates. If we look at the other side, it's from an investment perspective. The model we've adopted in relation to the total number of coins being issued is very reminiscent of the approach Bitcoin has historically taken. For example, like Bitcoin, our total pool of tokens will be limited to just 60 million. So any early adopters will be handsomely rewarded for mining. And then this creates very interesting parallels between our projections for DCS and the amazing growth that Bitcoin experienced. The difference between Bitcoin then and us now is we're looking at a much more informed and a much more educated market. So the value of the solution that we're offering has to be a lot more polished, and we believe that what we have the market needs, and it really sets us up for some pretty exciting growth in the future.
Wow. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Maybe let me rephrase it another way. Because of this similar deflationary model that we've adopted, which is very similar to that of Bitcoin, DCS could theoretically be referred to as Bitcoin 2.0. Such a compelling use case and limited availability, DCS represents a potentially very exciting opportunity for early adopters.
Okay, well, thanks for the tip there. What plans does DC have in the future?
privacy is not just related to commercial transactions. It also has significant potential for securing medical records, for enabling anonymous voting, concealing charitable donations, for doing anonymous corporate tendering, and as well as a whole range of archival and storage solutions. And we honestly believe that through the use of our core MIX-ZK protocol, our goal is for DCS to become the go-to platform for any developers out there who are interested in developing privacy-based applications. And our ultimate vision is for DCS to be recognized as a world leader in the field of token-based privacy protection.
Well, unfortunately, Jamie, we've run out of time today, but we'd like to invite you and your team back in the future to talk about this project and any other projects that you're taking on.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Carol, for having me. And I'll look forward to coming back again and actually learning a bit more about crypto wealth management as well. Thank you.
Thank you.